Hello, pedal people. Delay time. John Browne time.
Delay and reverb time, actually.
What John Browne said. So I had in the mail from the nice folks, hey Kevin, at Seymour Duncan, a pedal from some guy who does djenty stuff. And I know he doesn't like it when I say that, and the guy probably, because we don't do djent. They do. Okay? So the Periphery man plays a guitar and has a pedal, and that's music I don't get.
See,
so
there's multiple Periphery men with pedals, so we need to be a bit more specific here. This is Mark Holcomb's pedal.
Mark Holcomb.
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 Yeah.
Mark Holcomb.
Yeah.
Pedal. So, yeah, I can do what I do, and I will do what I do, but I think to get closer to what Mark Holcomb does would be good to have someone who does similar things to what Mark Holcomb does.
Yeah.
Which is this man. So we're going to do a dual kind of exploration of the pedal. I wanted to read the manual. It's over there, but I didn't. So we'll bullshit our way through it.
Isn't that what we do through life?
Yes.
So
what I do love about the pedal is that you don't need really to know anything unless you want to go really, really deep. And even really, really deep isn't very, very deep on it. Yeah. It's very self-explanatory, and it's not the kind of delay where you have menus and all the, tons of different algorithms. It's pretty straightforward. So let's put it there. Thank you, Leslie. Leslie is switching as always. So what we have here is a digital delay. What one of the main features of it is this green dynamic expression thing, which simply means it's kind of like the 2290 from TC, where you can say how much the delay is ducked or reduced in level while you're playing, and then you let go, and in the pauses, the delay can rise up, which means it's almost impossible to muddy up your signal, which probably is a very, very big feature for the kind of music you do.
Yeah, definitely, especially when there's distorted guitars going on in the rhythms and then you've got a clean line underneath.
When you do the... I have to. And then... oh, okay. Well.
I wasn't expecting that. That was very loud in my right ear.
That's actually, I was actually tame.
Really?
It can get worse, yes. That is what that mug is. Meta, gasp,
Oh, there you go.
That's what that is.
Did you used to love Iron Maiden when you were a kid?
Oh, no, actually, you don't know. Right. I think Iron Maiden's a big joke. There's good stuff, but that good stuff just repeats and repeats and repeats on every single album.
Every artist is probably doing that, to a degree.
There's some that don't, and I really appreciate them. Sometimes they fuck up, but let's take Satriani. Always try to have each album a different vibe, different production, more live. One of them was techno-ish. Yeah, sometimes you don't like one, but at least they're trying to expand their horizons. In a way, Bon Jovi is doing that. There's like one album, Lost Highway, which is has modern country kind of ideas in it. Again, for the fans, sometimes you might not like it, but the band at least is playing around with new ideas.
Well, I think that's kind of what happens when you get older. You want to explore different things. Except
for Maiden and AC/DC. Or Status Quo, who just did the same album. Always, Malmsteen, we just talked about Malmsteen earlier.
Yeah.
But back to the pedal. So, when you do the things you do, when you're playing, you don't want... You play a lot of notes. You play distorted notes, you play low notes.
Yep.
You don't want the delay to muddy up your playing.
Yeah.
But you want it to come up when you're not playing, which, when actually is that? When you're not playing?
There's actually lots of ambient bits, man. Take Tesseract, for example. It's very spacey, very liquidy. Something like this would be cool for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Oh, there you go.
I have no idea. Now I've got to turn the bings off here. So that's what this knob does, and I love that it's simply just a knob, which actually when you're playing, I think flickers and reacts and shows you where you are dynamically, but we will see that. Then you have a very simple delay section. Time, feedback, mix. Couldn't be easier than that. Time can also be determined by, go to the side, Lizzie, the tap switchy. Tap, 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 tap. And there right now, it shows you. Thank you. So very simple delay section. Very, very simple reverb section. Reverb size, mix, and that's it. I don't even know if they are different algorithms for the reverb. I don't think they are.
Not too sure. We'll have to take a look.
So that's it. Then you have a clicky switch, which allows you to determine the directionality.
So, or if you want only delay, right, or only reverb, is that on there? I know that you can do the verb before the delay or the delay before the verb, but I didn't read that closely.
Yeah. Then there's I don't know what that means. LDRR and LRRD. We're gonna have to look in the manual actually, because I don't know what that setting would be, but we're gonna find out.
Or we could just play through it and see what it does.
What John Browne said. So those two sections are super simple. They're pretty much 3 knob pedals. Very simple. Yeah. For the delay, you have a couple of parameters. You can have a low-pass filter, a high-pass filter, and saturate it, meaning drive it a bit. So there aren't any analog and tape and all these different things. Make your own analog by rolling off the high end. Make your own tape-ish, by rolling off the low end and maybe modulating it a bit, which you can do by pushing this button. And you can say, what is that? The depth, the rate, and the blend of the modulation. And you simply go to low-pass filter and then use this tweak knob and set this to whatever parameter you want. And then you say, okay, low-pass filter, saturation, and that's it. This is as complex as it gets, and that's a very straightforward way of doing it. I really like that.
I think it's also great that it doesn't show you the frequencies of the high pass or the low pass, so you can start worrying about what hertz you're at. Because in reality, it doesn't matter. It's just if it sounds good, right?
Easy is. Yep. Here we have something in between subdivisions and maybe algorithms, but not really. You can say a quarter, dotted eighth, triplets, and then pattern, which I actually have never been on, but that's kind of cool. Reverse ping pong and reverse ping pong. And that's about it. But I don't see them as algorithms and more like...
it's just settings, isn't it? It's like options. Yeah. It's
a digital delay. That's the algorithm. One algorithm. But you can tweak that digital... I can't say digital.
Digital. You okay there?
That's it. And then we have trails on off. That's not an internal dip switch and shit like this, which many of them have. Yeah, open it up and do it whether you want it to be true bypass or trails on and off. You actually just have a switch on it.
Yep.
And it also has presets, 32 banks of 4. You increase by hitting the bank button. You decrease by holding the bank button. And then here you have 4 different ABCD per bank. I frankly think that's way too many. What do you need? Like 32 times 4?
That's 128.
What he said. Yeah. Talking about that, go to the side cam right now, Lizzie. Ha! Because we have MIDI, 9-volt MIDI, and then 2 ins, 2 outs. And on this side, we have a USB-C port. No. Some USB port. I think it's micro. Okay. For something.
Probably be for firmware updates, maybe to save your presets off of it.
Possible.
Not too sure. We should have read the manual.
But we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't.
So, do you want to start?
Yeah.
Mr. Browne starts. Here's, the setup, le setup. Mm-hmm. I'm going into an AB switch from Joyo, because that's the only one I have. We are both playing beautiful mayonnaise guitars. Into the Dark Sun. Actually, no, into the Architect by Matthews Effects, which is a really, really cool clone type pedal. Review coming. And that is going into the Dark Sun, and that is going on the one side into the
Generation.
Rev Dynamis, yep. And on the other side into the equally colored to me Generator 740. The Dynamis is going into the aux. The 740 is going into the Torpedo Studio. Left, right, stereo. Good. Now that we have covered all this boring stuff. Okay, so
Quite nice.
I'll take the delay down. We'll just look at the reverb. So we can clearly see that you can do delay only if you want to do the ambient stuff where you only have the delay coming in. Exactly. So full mix is only delay, which is cool. That took a long time to go away with the feedback.
It did.
But that's kind of not unpleasant.
It wasn't. It was it was cool. It was almost like end of the world kind of style.
Let's see what the longest delay time is we have here.
Okay, I'll play one note. Wow, that's like 4 seconds.
That's a long ass time.
Yeah.
There was a bird in there. So that's cool. Let's do a normal kind of a delay, and we're going to play with the parameters here. That is super effective, beautiful, high frequency roll off, or making it very thin. Let's see what happens if we do both.
Actually really cool as well. It's
That's
like
a cool bandpass kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now if we go and saturate that, wait. Let's do the same. Let's do the same thing for the modulation section.
Okay, I'll play the same thing, yeah?
Yeah. No, play open chords.
I only play open chords, okay.
it's beautiful.
It's really pleasant.
It's very easy to dial in just the right amount of chorus or wacky craziness. Now let's go do the tapping thing again.
Okay.
And we're gonna go into the dynamic thing. So I'll do the tapping thing with some pausing. Can you hear when John's playing? It's not dry,
no,
but it's very clean.
Yep.
And then as soon as he stops, the delay really comes up.
Yep.
Which is way cool. So cool. If you did, let me illustrate that. Wait a minute. If you did funky stuff, okay, so. You don't want that delay to trash everything. What is this? Why'd you do that? Now I broke it. That's a lot of delay,
it is.
Which could really trash everything.
Good. Like, yeah. Can you imagine ending a song though and having that?
It would be. This is what it would be without the ducking. And such a simple feature with just the one green knob. So before I go back to John, I want to...
Well, actually, one thing I wanted to check actually is, do you want to just play for a minute and see if that knob does actually change and come in and out of color?
I think, not color, but the
light.
It flickers. Something I'm looking for in a delay, if I have a lead sound to not really be an echo, but just to cream it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, which I usually would use an analog delay for, because that with a rounded top end is beautiful for that. So here we have the Architect by Matthews Effects, which is really nice. You want the dynamic down now, otherwise you don't hear it. That's exactly what I'm looking for. A delay has to be able to do that. And another thing that I'm looking for in a delay, especially a digital one. So we're gonna go give it all the high end we need. Dotted eighth. Bam. The dotted eighth trick.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It does that.
Maybe you should try putting the dynamic delay on a little bit, just the tiniest little bit, so that...
Because I'm playing very staccato.
Yeah.
And so it could come up in the pause. It technically should only come up in the pauses.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that fast though.
A lot cleaner.
Yeah. To play very, very staccato. So it does that absolutely beautifully. Then we have, we had all of this. Wait a second. Everything we just did, we had without the reverb. So let's do the.
Do you want to, which selector is it on? Is it on verb before delay or delay before verb?
Delay before verb.
Okay.
So let's try the lead thing again, but with a little bit reverb. Oh, look.
Yeah.
It applies to the reverb as well. Obviously, you can do crazy things by making it very big.
Oh, that is wonderful, isn't it?
I was hoping it comes up, but
for that, you could make it if you turned the verb level down, and then it would sort of like once you stopped, it would be like more of a subtle.
I'm thinking what you can do is you can do a reverse volume swell.
Yeah.
So I play no reverb and I take it away, and all of a sudden the reverb comes in.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange, but that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
So let's look at, what is that? Pattern. I'll do pattern, then I give it right back to you with a pattern. It's very big. What is the pattern, I want to know? How do you define the pattern? But how do you define what the pattern is?
It's probably in the manual.
Do you want to play the pattern while I read the manual?
Oh, yeah. Go on then, talk to me.
Thank you. You can't define the pattern. It's always quarter notes and dotted eighth.
Okay.
So it's pretty much dotted eighth, but they add quarter notes. Good. Then moving on, I'll give you reverse.
Yeah. Mate.
That's
you
have to stop playing, otherwise they can't hear us. It's saturation that I put on the delay.
Okay.
And I like that because you're clean, but the delay is driven.
Dirty.
So
yeah.
I'll take that off.
Sorry, I have to play that.
I don't know.
Ping pong.
Ping pong. What? You were playing, we couldn't hear you.
It was really nice.
John Browne, as if you don't know how the YouTube thing works.
I use a lav mic. I'm all right.
No, that's not the problem. I'll cut out everything in the mic when they see a guitar signal. And then they see your mouth move and they can't hear you.
Really nice. It's really, really nice. It's beautiful. You've just ruined it.
No, that's good. Come on, that's cool.
It sounds nice. Can you slow down that modulation a little bit so it's a little bit more...
Yeah, go. The blend determines whether the modulation is on the delay and how much, or the reverb. It's either or, which is pretty damn cool.
I'm guessing that in the middle is an even share of both.
I'm gonna go with, yes, delay equals reverb. That is pretty cool.
That is very cool.
And with one knob, I mean, a very simple parameter. And then that brings us to, right now we are delay into reverb. So, go. And now we're gonna flip that.
Are you trying to talk, Henning?
And now we're gonna flip that around to reverb into delay. It's just, everything is pleasant.
It's really, really nice, isn't it?
Independent of the parameters and all the tweakability, it just sounds good.
Yeah, it's not adding that horrible high end that you get with some delays
and oftentimes I have a delay on the table and I'm fighting with it. And I'm playing and I'm constantly adjusting mix. I'm constantly adjusting some parameter because I'm not happy. This is just always pleasant. What the LDRR or the LRRD does is left delay, right reverb.
That is cool. What I did,
We have the delay on one side, the reverb on the other, but I did series modulation only on the reverb.
Cool.
Which is, now that you know what to do, you go to blend, you do a reverb 99.
Yep.
And then I did a lot of depth and series speed.
Yep.
But it's not all anymore because the delay is still clean.
Yep.
No modulation on the reverb is wacky. If you listen to the reverb by itself.
Now put it back to the other setting.
Wait, now it's just a delay to that. Go. That is cool, and the other one in LR or RD is just the opposite. Then the delay is on the other side and the reverb is on the other side, which
is
don't quite know why you would necessarily.
Unless you took the stereo out and had it in a certain order in a different way.
Then I would just flip the cables. Having an extra setting for that seems a little bit much.
There is probably a way to do it. I don't know. My brain's not working right now. But
Now the coolest thing is, all that stuff, MIDI capable, meaning, well, at least the presets. I don't know if there's a full MIDI implementation to do any kind of parameter with MIDI, but you can definitely switch the presets. And then it said something about it runs 9 to 18 volts and requires only 300 milliamps.
So it's pretty much just standard on a power supply then.
When it's standard in terms of bigger digital pedals, so that's totally fine. Let's go through a couple of presets and then we are le done, as they say.
Le done or la done.
Okay, here. I'm gonna call it djent. In djent, I think the whole idea is to control mud as much as possible.
Yeah.
Your guitar, I don't know about Mark's guitar, but your guitar is very lean in the bottom. It's almost impossible to not hear every string by itself. The djenty kind of sounds, it's not super high gain, it's a mid gain kind of a thing, and the amps are so that you can hear everything and there's not a lot of mud. Your playing style is very, very muted and very controlled. Having that dynamic knob on there is all about controlling the mud, but still having the possibility of the big ambience when you're not playing.
Yep.
It's a brilliant idea, and it's not a new idea from Seymour Duncan, but it's brilliant to incorporate that on a pedal for a gentleman.
Can you think of any pedals outside of the 2290 from TC that has the dynamic sort of?
Flashback?
Yeah.
TC does it. I know that. And then some other delays have like a...
But it's not a universal standard.
It's not... What about the... Wait.
The timeline, of course, yeah.
The timeline has a...
Probably has a ducking, right?
A digital dual pattern? Duck. No, it has a duck delay. It has a ducking algorithm. Of course it has, because, I mean, it's a timeline, okay?
But is there any control of the...
Yes, I'm sure.
I'm sure there probably is, yeah.
But what I love on this thing, it's so easy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's just one knob.
And
you can affect either the reverb or the delay or both with the dynamic processing, right?
No.
It was all together.
I think it's all together, yeah. That would be super cool if you could
That would be cool if you could individually do them, yeah.
But in the knob gives you visual feedback. This thing you learn in 10 minutes, you master in 15, and then it gives you a lot of options. So play a bit, I'll go through more presets. That's annoyingly cool.
It's very cool how it keeps modulating as well, further.
But I just thought of something. When I'm changing presets, I don't think that the dynamic knob setting is savable, because that, to me, seems like an analog knob.
Yeah.
Play it.
That's very quick. When you hold the tap foot switch, it turns into a preset selector. So I'm holding the tap foot switch, and then if I don't do anything for 2 seconds, it goes back to tap. But if I hold it, now I can cycle through A, B, C, D on that bank. Incredible.
So you can very easily, in a live situation, where you have to hold it for 2 seconds, which isn't too long, and then you have access to the 4 presets. I don't think you can skip to the next bank.
You wouldn't really, would you ever really need more than 4 presets? A song
really not.
And even if you did, you have the MIDI functionality at that point to go through that, right?
Trying to find out, how do you save? Oh, see the bank button. Oh, you hold bank and preset at the same time, then it's saved. Easy! So, I don't even have to ask you, what do you think? Because
it's phenomenal. It's incredible. Great job to Mark and Seymour Duncan.
It doesn't have tape. It doesn't have shimmer. It doesn't have analog. It's just a great delay.
It just sounds awesome. And you can pretty much make a bunch of similar sounds to most of those with what's in there anyway.
And it has, as far as I can tell, 1 reverb.
Yeah.
There's 1 type of reverb in there, and that's enough, because combined with the delay, it clearly becomes many different things.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give it my full thumbs up.
I don't know what that means. It's just sick.
Yeah, that one. So, yeah, really, I can't find.
I can't find anything to complain about either.
Didn't I find?
The
Oh,
dynamic delay thing, the dynamic processing.
yeah, that could be savable.
Yeah, or if it's not savable, at least make it so that you can affect either the reverb or
Yes.
the delay, depending on what you want to do.
Well, that's pitching at a very high level.
Imagine though, like you've got the verb going on, and that is quite high up in your effects, and then it only does the ducking on the delay, which makes everything messy. Would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? But then again, you could just buy two of them.
Of course, just by two of them.
Yeah, if that's what you want.
And it's got MIDI in and out, or MIDI in and through, I'm gonna assume. So everything, if you have a looper switcher that is MIDI capable, you can just actually recall your presets with your favorite other pedals. I think it's over €300,
Okay, I actually didn't look at the price.
but that means it's not in the king category of the €500 delays. It's just great. So links below. Thanks to John Browne for being my guitar man.
Thank you to Henning.
Thanks to Seymour Duncan. I guess Mark, I don't know him, but
Thanks, Mark.
thanks, Mark. And animals at the end, as always.
Think, open your mind a little more. Breathe, open your eyes and